The galaxy had cataloged every form of strength: firepower, technology, numbers. But it had no category for a species that refused to collapse.
The law, fear. For most of galactic history, strength was defined by efficiency. Civilizations optimized survival by minimizing loss. Entire doctrines were built around preservation, protecting population numbers, conserving resources, avoiding prolonged hardship. From this logic emerged an unspoken belief: a species that can endure endless loss without collapse is dangerous. The fear was not physical destruction, it was psychological. Civilizations that broke under pressure could be predicted. Civilizations that endured hardship calmly could not. So, the galaxy created systems to monitor resilience. Species that adapted too quickly to catastrophe were flagged. Species that rebuilt too calmly after disaster were studied. And species that continued forward after repeated loss were feared. For thousands of years, no civilization crossed that line. Until humanity did. The human incident. The first warning came not from war, but from disaster response logs. A human colony world suffered a chain failure: climate collapse, orbital debris impacts, infrastructure loss. Projections showed the colony should have failed within months. Instead, humans reorganized. There was no panic spike, no mass evacuation. Casualties were mourned, but operations continued. Supply chains rerouted manually, communities relocated themselves. Children were taught routines amid ruins. Galactic analysts expected psychological collapse. It never came. Instead, the models detected something unprecedented. Human populations stabilized emotionally after loss, not before it. The galaxy recorded the events quietly, but the concern spread. The galactic reaction. Council analysts reviewed deeper history: plagues, wars, planetary extinctions. Humans endured all of them, not without damage, not without grief, but without surrender. This pattern disturbed ancient assumptions. Resilience without numbness was considered impossible. Endurance without emotional decay violated established models. Council chambers filled with careful language: long-term unpredictability, civilizational inertia, strategic asymmetry. Humanity was not aggressive, but they were unstoppable in a way no algorithm could calculate. Containment protocols were discussed, not to destroy humanity, but to slow them. Observation fleets were deployed. A threshold was set. If humans demonstrated resilience under direct existential pressure, action would be taken. Humanity's response. Humanity was informed. The accusation was subtle but clear. They endured too well. Human leaders did not protest. They did not argue statistics or deny patterns. Instead, they explained. Human resilience was not built on indifference. It was built on meaning. Loss mattered. Pain mattered. But humans assigned purpose to suffering instead of letting it end them. They did not become stronger because they ignored hardship. They became stronger because they carried it. This explanation unsettled the council. No species had ever framed endurance as responsibility. The ally, witness. One delegation listened differently. The Talaran, record keepers of civilizational collapse, reviewed humanity's past with new attention. They noticed something critical. Humans did not grow calmer after loss. They grew more connected. Communities tightened. Memory became ritual. History became guidance. Resilience for humans was not individual toughness. It was shared weight. The Talaran witness spoke once. This species survives not because it forgets pain, but because it remembers together. Still, observation fleets remained. The test was not over. The sacrifice. The test came when a cascading stellar failure threatened multiple inhabited systems. Evacuation windows were limited. Stabilization required manual intervention. No species volunteered. Human crews did. Not one, many. But one was chosen. A human engineer entered the failing array and knowing escape would not be possible. There was no speech, no final message, only action. The system stabilized. Billions survived. The engineer did not return. The record logged a single explanation, spoken earlier, now confirmed. Better one life than billions. Aftermath, legacy. The council reconvened. The fear dissolved, not because humanity was safe, but because humanity was understood. Resilience was not their weapon, it was their burden. The classification changed. Humanity was no longer marked as unpredictable. They were marked as reliable under pressure, a rare distinction. New doctrines followed. Humans were assigned roles no one else wanted: disaster stabilization, long-term recovery, endurance missions. Not because they could not break, but because they chose not to. The galaxy learned a final truth. Humanity was not dangerous because it endured. Humanity was dangerous because it endured with compassion, and that made them indispensable. HFY.